Welcome to Friday, September 6, 2024. This podcast brought to you by ConversCountyTourism.com. Beautiful landscapes, historic sites, and unique downtowns await visitors to Douglas and Glen Rock, Wyoming. Plan your visit at ConversCountyTourism.com. Well, we have some really nice, just classic September weather coming this upcoming weekend, from today through the weekend into early next week. A lot of sun. Warm, late summer, early fallish temperatures, cooler nights but warm days, and there's going to be a little bit of isolated thunderstorm activity. You're going to find out that the thunderstorms are going to mainly want to be over near the higher terrain. There'll be a few, but there really won't be a lot, and they should not have too much of a problem interfering with your outdoor activities or travel over the next 5 days or so. Now, the next weather system is going to move into the western United States towards the middle of next week. That's going to bring some better chances of showers, especially west of the divide. Hopefully that could mean some moisture for some of the fire areas as we get into the middle of next week. Bit of a cool down with it as well. But between now and the middle of next week, and even after that system leaves, still pretty benign over the next 7 to 10 days or so. Also, we did post yesterday our winter long-range outlook to the YouTube channel at Dayweather. So the long-range outlook for the winter season, our best guess, is posted. Well, we're going to have more shots like this, very nice and pleasant evenings and mornings, and not going to see many more rainbows in the coming days just because the thunderstorm activity, while around, will be rather spotty and scant, and well, you can see why. Very little in the way of cloudiness and any type of weather patterns that would look like fronts or storms showing up on the satellite image this morning. Water vapor showing a lot of dry air, a lot of red, a lot of orange there. The gray shows the heavier water content in the atmosphere, more towards the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, and along the Gulf Coast there. There is enough residual moisture just hanging around, though, that isolated showers and thunderstorms are going to maybe pop over the higher terrain. High pressure centered over northern Arizona, stretching northward into the Pacific Northwest. That's where we're going to be at noon today, and this is basically the configuration for the weekend into early next week, with that high pressure ridge in place. If we step through the next 3 days, this shows where there might be a little bit of afternoon and evening isolated thunderstorm activity. Again, spotty, not widespread, but this is today. This is Saturday. So you can see maybe down into southern Colorado, northern New Mexico, parts of Arizona, Nevada there, over the Cascades, a little bit more in the way of isolated thunderstorm activity. But these are the ones you really don't want because, well, with the lightning, they could be fire starters. That's Saturday. This is Sunday. Sunday, the thunderstorm concentration is a little bit better in Colorado. Again, nothing to write home about, but there'll be a few out and about. Along with that, coinciding will be partly to mostly sunny skies and warm temperatures. The precipitation output of these thunderstorms pretty paltry. Again, one of those situations where you really don't want these because they're not going to produce much rain, if any. Then, temperature-wise, this is the 5-day period from today through Tuesday. So temperatures will be at or above average in many areas across the West. Then as we get towards the middle of next week, this is Thursday, we do start to see a trough come in to the Great Basin. And this is a system that might be a little bit more productive west of the divide. Could it bring some hopefully needed rain to Idaho, the Pacific Northwest, and areas along the west slope? Well, I think it could. Then up into Montana and parts of the northern Rockies has a real opportunity of getting rain out of this. So there'll be a bit of a shift. The cooler than average conditions will move into the western U.S. while it warms up in the Great Lakes in the east. It's the reverse this weekend, cooler in the Great Lakes and east. Warmest weather will be here in the west. This is not a terribly cold system, but as we'll show you here in a minute, it might bring a little bit of high mountain snow. So, boy, this could be really helpful for the fires in Idaho if this happens. Also, the fires in western Wyoming and Montana. Southern areas of Canada could do quite well with the system in the trough next week. You can see that at least through the middle of next week, we don't have a lot going on east of the divide. Now, this system is going to pass. We'll have high pressure built in behind it. but it will be cold enough. There you can see there's some opportunity for some high elevation, very high elevation snowfall mid to late next week with that system. But this is not the type of front that brings really deep cold. So it'll be a cool down, not a major drop in temperature. We might have a bigger drop in temperature with the next one, but this goes all the way out to around the 20th and the 21st of September. What we want to watch here, take this with a grain of salt. This is a very long-range forecast out to about 14 days or so. But what you look for is the pattern. You don't look so much at exactly all the fine details, but the pattern suggests that if high pressure builds along the west coast and western Canada, that opens the door to Canadian air. So this is around that 20th, 21st or so. That'll be the next cool down if this ridge develops. And I don't see any reason why it won't. So that'll probably be the next one we'll need to keep an eye on in terms of a more serious drop in temperature. And the model sees that. Whether or not this transpires exactly on that date and time or of this intensity, we'll just have to see. We're just kind of sticking our neck out a little bit to show you when the next bigger push of weather will come on in. It's just that time of year where the spacing between systems is fairly far apart still, so you'll have really good weather in between. Have yourself a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.